I'm Saturday hauling for you guys today, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with an order that I placed off of Ulta because they were doing their leader sale. I think it's actually still going on, but I like to stock up on my favorite shampoo and conditioners when they're doing their leader sale. So I got the Redken Extreme shampoo and conditioner, and I also got the Redken Color Extend Blondage. So I like to use the blondage versions to kind of keep the brassiness away, and then I like to use the extreme versions, kind of rotating between the two every now and again to kind of keep the hydration in my hair. And I just really like what Redken shampoo and conditioners do for my hair, and these are my two favorite versions from them. So it's these two right here. The Extreme, again, is a really nice hydrating version, which I've got fine kind of a naturally wavy hair, so moisture in it helps with frizz. And then the blondage, again, keeps the brassiness down. And then too, sometimes I do like to really overtone with the blondage and get a little hint of purple in my blonde hair. I like that look. I do need to get my hair done. I just haven't kind of bothered to do it at this time, but I like to use it for that as well. So I got the shampoo and conditioners in both of these in the liters. I also picked up one of the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plumps, and I got the shade Cherry Blossom. It's a version of their Juicy Lip, and then they recently came out with the plump version of that. And I heard really good things about the original version as well, but there wasn't like a color that super appealed to me. And there's actually two colors in this range that really appealed to me. Both of the colors that I wanted in the store were sold out in store, and then the other shade of this online was also sold out. I think it's like a white peach, I think is the shade. So I got the Cherry Blossom shade. And again, this is the packaging. I should mention here how much product do we have. 0.095 ounces, and this guy is made in Korea. So it's a click style pen because the product is really soft, so you can't like put it in a twist up bullet because it'll just smush down. So you click just enough product out and it doesn't come back down because, again, it's really soft. So these ones come with the white packaging, and this particular shade has a really light pink tint to it. On the lips, it doesn't give a ton of color, just the slightest hue of pink. And then this has that plumping in it, which kind of, it feels more like a menthol on the lips. But what I found really interesting is the viscosity of this. It's a thicker type of formulation, so it stays on the lips for a really long time. And throughout the time period that it was on my lips, which was quite a few hours, I could still feel that mentholy kind of feeling on my lips. So it wasn't like super tingly or any of those like really extreme versions, but it was like this sensation, if you will, and I could feel it for a really long time on the lips. It wasn't irritating or anything like that, but it was very moisturizing. It made my lips look super nice. Felt kind of like a balm as well, but not like real slippy or anything like that, but a really nice product. And I think when I get the opportunity, I'm going to go ahead and get the white peach shade as well, but this one is the version in Cherry Blossom. I might need to do a once over of the originals as well, because I like these lighter shades in these, and the other shades in the like original are a bit deeper. So I might once over it again just to see, because I'd like to also try the originals, because again, I've heard really good things about those as well. And these new ones are really nice too. So I can kind of see why some of those shades are sold out all over. So that is the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump in Cherry Blossom right there. And then I also purchased two items from the new Jaclyn x Robin collaboration that she did, which is Robin is her mother. I got the Powder Move Loose Setting Powder. It's got 0.34 ounces of product in there. And then this guy here is made in the USA with imported and domestic parts is what it says on the back. So this is the packaging right here for the powder. I got the shade Sheer Fair, which is the lightest version they do, and it does come in her really chunky kind of acrylic packaging, which I think this packaging is really pretty, but it's kind of hard to store because it's big and kind of chunky, and it's just not quite practical, even though it's pretty, because there's a lot of packaging here for the amount of product that's inside. For a loose powder, 0.34 ounces isn't a ton of product that you're getting. So just, I mean, again, I like it. I think it's pretty, but it's very big and clunky and not super like practical. But that's what it looks like right here. And then on the top, it says X Robin. So this powder here, I actually have on my face to set my foundation today. And it does have a sheen to it, but it's not so shiny like the first powder that I bought from her. It was a setting powder, and I put it all over the face and I was just not a fan. This one's better than the original one that I tried. It still has a sheen to it, but the couple times that I've used it around my mouth especially, I've tried to kind of spritz it with facials, like a facial mist, like the I was using the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Mist around my mouth and then patting over a powder foundation to try to get that patchiness gone. But this was kind of gathering my foundation together in like pieces around my mouth, which it is drier around my mouth, but I do have a lot of powders that also don't do that, if that makes sense. So I'm not crazy I'm not crazy about that because I've been trying to fix it. And then when powders do that on my skin, if I even just leave it alone, put a little setting spray on and then try to pat powder foundation over it, it like picks up all the foundation or anything that's on the skin. It's a really weird situation, but this powder does that for me. There's a couple different ones I have tried over time that have done similar things. This one's one of them. But the other parts of my face that I do have it on, I think it looks pretty. It kind of did that on the top of my cheeks as well. I kind of don't think that this is a powder for a dry skin type because I'm dry on the top of my cheeks and kind of around my mouth. The sheen it gives is pretty, but I don't think it's for me and my dry skin. So this is the sheer fair version, and I'll go ahead and give you guys a swatch of it. It is very finely milled and very, very silky smooth. But yeah, that gathering of what it's doing on my foundation, I'm not super crazy about. So what I might actually do is mix it with something like the Laura Mercier powder so that I can get use out of it. I think you can kind of see the sheen there, but it's almost like, I don't know, there's an ingredient in there that just ain't working out. But anyway, that's the Jaclyn Hill X Robin Sheer Fair Powder Move Loose Setting Powder. Right there, if you can kind of see it. And I do have it on my face to set, but I did have to, you know, like I said, take a powder foundation. I used the Pure one around my mouth here to get that patchiness and where the foundation lifted off my face from that powder. So, and then I also purchased the Luxe Legacy eyeshadow palette from Jaclyn Cosmetics, which is the eyeshadow palette in collaboration with her mom. So this guy's got 20 shadows that are 0.06 ounces per shade, which is a ton of product that you're getting. And this one is also made in the USA with imported and domestic parts, is what it says on the packaging. So here's the box packaging. I believe if you purchase the products off of her website, there's like a limited edition packaging for this palette, but I just got the one from Ulta. So this is a cardboard packaging right here, and then I thought maybe the image would be in the lid, but it's not. It just says Jaclyn. They could have, I don't know, I think they could have done that. It would have been pretty. Anyway, here are your shadows. So I have worn this palette a few times, and I will say the quality of these shadows is really nice. Like the mattes are pigmented and they blend really well. I did get a little bit more fallout than I would have liked with the dark shades when I was putting it and blending them through the crease, but they blended out really nicely. I really enjoyed the looks that I got out of this. The shimmer shades, they're pretty, but they're not the most shiny or the most shimmery or anything like that. And I think that has more to do with, you know, this is a collaboration palette with her mom, so they're a little bit more subtle, but they're still really pretty. And kind of the looks that I get out of here have a grunge factor to them, like a smoky grunge that looks just really nice. And there's a nice array of light, medium, and dark shimmers and mattes in here. So it's a standalone palette for me as well. So I do like this guy right here. So let's go ahead and give you guys some swatches here. And then these next guys. This pan's a little loose in the palette. They are a little bit inconsistently set inside of the packaging, but for a minute there when I had touched a shade and the pan moved, I thought, oh, maybe these are magnetized. But they're not. Would have been nice if they were. And then these next ones. These guys, you do got a nice array of warms, neutrals, and some cools in there, and some hints of green. of space. And then these last 4. We'll put them right here. Just give you a good once over. So yeah, I've gotten along with this palette pretty well, with the exception of that fallout. And I do kind of prefer some of those really shiny, shimmery, you know, metallics and stuff like that. But these are like a safer, like nice version that go well with the grunginess of the mattes, in my opinion. So I'm glad I picked this guy up. So that's the Luxe Legacy Eyeshadow Palette from Jaclyn Cosmetics right there. And then I also picked up a couple items from the new Morphe. I want to say it's their spring summer collection. It's the Gilded Desert, maybe? But I got the 35U Gilded Desert Artistry palette. It is this guy right here. And this one here has got a total of 1.44 ounces of product in the whole palette, and this guy is made in China, so there are 35 shades and a total of 1.44 ounces of product, so you are getting quite a bit of product in this guy. This is the packaging. It mimics the box. It's the cardboard kind of standard Morphe packaging, and this is actually the eyeshadow palette that I have got on my eyes today. And this is a really, really nice eyeshadow palette. It's got a really good array of shimmers and mattes, both light, medium, and dark. And you've also got cool tones, warm tones, and neutral tones of, you know, browns and neutral shades. I've used this a couple times so far, and it's really a nice palette. So if you were looking for a affordable neutral palette that kind of covers all the tones spectrum, I think this is a good one to try out. The mattes are pigmented, they blend really well. Again, this is the palette that I have got on my eyes today, and I'm really impressed with it. I hope they kind of stick with this formulation. Some of the ones in the past I've gotten along with, but the formulations have been a little bit more stiff in terms of the shimmery shades. These ones are softer. Some of them I do still kind of have to poke my brush in there to pick up the product, but they are a softer formulation. And then the last one that I bought, I can't remember off the top of my head, it was a collaboration palette that was really colorful. I wasn't crazy about that one, but this one is really nice. So I don't think I've got enough arm space to kind of do 35 shades, but let's swatch a couple. Yeah, the mattes are just really creamy and buttery and smooth. And I think you can use Ulta coupons on this too. I got this at Ulta. But this formulation, again, based off the last couple Morphe palettes that I've purchased, this one here is a newer. It's different and it's better. It's really nice. So let's do some of these warm tones. I'm just kind of jumping around here. There are a couple shades in here, like these two shades that are really similar, and then these two shades that are really similar. So there's a little bit of crossover, but again, for the price, the amount of shades that you're getting in different finishes and stuff, like I think you can even see the smoothness kind of in the swatches there. You know what? I don't think I didn't even pick up any product with these two fingers, so just ignore those swatches right there. I only swatched those two shades, but let's get these gold ones. This brown, another gold. That's really similar to that one, but let's do this shimmery shade. That was a real fail there. And then let's just do a couple more here for you, just so you can see. And I almost wasn't gonna like go for this one, and I'm sure glad that I did, because again, newer formulation and it's super, super nice. So that is the Morphe 35U Gilded Desert palette right there. And that is what I've got on my eyes today. From that same Morphe collection, I also picked up one of the bronzers and one of the highlighters. So I got the Glow Show Radiant Pressed Highlighter, 0.25 ounces of product, and this one is actually made in Italy. I'll be doggone. So cardboard packaging right there. This is the lightest out of the ones that were available, and I'm not happy with this product. It is not that nice. On my skin, it's really hard to adhere to my drier skin type, and then when I do kind of get it to adhere, it sticks to itself, so it doesn't look real smooth, and it's also not like super shiny either. I just don't care for the formulation of this product right here. So again, the shade I got was Glow Show, and there are some larger sparkles in this product too, like I don't know if they're larger kind of mica particles. But yeah, I'm not crazy about this formulation in the least bit. I had a really hard time getting it to stick to the skin, and then when you go to kind of blend it out, you might not be able to see on camera kind of there, but it gathers in kind of pieces on my skin. So not crazy about the highlighter. Again, that's the Glow Show shade right there. And then the bronzer that I got was the lightest one out of the bunch. I think there are 5 available. So this is Touch of Sun. This is also made in Italy, and there's 0.25 ounces of product in here. And I did get along with the bronzer better than the highlighter. It's pigmented and it blended out pretty nicely on the skin. But this particular shade in Bronze Show here does pull a bit more warm on my skin tone than I was hoping for. I was hoping it would have a little bit more kind of redness in it, but it still looked pretty. So I will be able to use this. It does have a bit of a sheen to it as well. But again, you can see right there, it's almost got like a warm yellow undertone to it. My preference on my really kind of pink undertone skin is a kind of reddy bronzer, but this did look pretty when I blended it out on the skin. So I did pair it with kind of a warm blush and a really pretty shiny, I think it was a ColourPop Super Shock highlighter. So I don't mind the bronzer. I think the formulation blends out on the skin much nicer than the highlighter does. So that's the Bronze Show bronzer from that collection right there. I also picked up one of the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear bronzers. So 0.31 ounces of product in this guy, and it is made in the USA. So I got the shade 200 Fair, which is the lightest out of the shades. I want to say there were 5 or 6 shades available, and it does have a nice undertone to it. Swatching it next to the Morphe, it does look quite a bit cooler, but blended out on the skin, it does have a bit of warmth to it as well. So this is actually the bronzer that I have got on my face today, and it does have, I would say, a satin type of a finish to it. And it's really pretty. I've been using it for the past couple days as well, and I think that it looks nice on the skin. So this is the L'Oreal Infallible. It's a new product from the brand. Fresh Wear Bronzer in 200 Pale right there. And then for reference for those 2 bronzers, I do like to swatch my absolute favorite bronzer, which is the Gucci in number 1. So you can see the tones between those 2 bronzers and my absolute favorite bronzer, which is the Gucci. The Gucci just has a little bit more redness to it, which flatters my undertone. But yeah, I did like the warmth in this one when I used it with my overall look that day, and it blended out really nice. The Morphe one did, and then the L'Oreal one too. I like that kind of coolness factor to it. Again, it blends out a little bit warmer on the skin than it looks right there. But that's the Gucci one, which is my favorite in 01. And then I purchased some products from Haus Labs, which is Lady Gaga's brand. And I'm not 100% sure what's going on with the brand, but they're doing like a relaunch thing where it's a clean, and they're coming to Sephora. So they're not 50% off right now, but when I was on Amazon looking at these, the whole line was 50% off. So I bought a bunch of products that I had kind of been looking at for a while. I don't know if they'll keep these around or not. They're still available on Amazon, but they're no longer 50% off. So not 100% sure what's going on there, but I wanted to swatch the bronzer next to these other bronzers since I have it up. So I got the Heat Spell Bronzer and Highlighter Duo in Savannah Sun. So you've got Savannah and Sun, and this is made in France, and there's a total of 0.38 ounces or 11 grams of product. So you've got cardboard packaging, and then the duos come with a sleeve that's got this gradient that says Haus Laboratories on it. And then if you open it up, there's a little mirror, and then you've got a bronzer and a highlighter. And kind of swatched out, that highlighter is really pretty. It's got a nice shine to it. If you don't have super dry skin like me, you'd probably like this a little bit more, but this particular kind of formulation on dry skin tends to get a little patchy, and I can't get it to adhere to the skin really well. The bronzer is a matte, and it's a really pretty tone for fair skin, and it blends out nicely. I love the bronzer, and in my younger day when my skin wasn't quite as finicky. I think that I would have loved the highlighter as well, but I can get it to work, but I have to spray my brush, but it can get a little patchy like that too. So again, it has that nice shine, and I think that if you have a little less dry of a skin tone than myself, you might like that a little bit better. But love the bronzer, not crazy on my skin type with the highlighter. So that's the bronzer compared to the other three that I just swatched. And again, that's the Haus Laboratories Heat Spell bronzer and highlighter duo right there. And there's a couple versions or shades of this available as well. I also picked up 2 of the blush and highlighter duos, and it's also made in France, 11 grams, 0.38 ounces of product. And this one's in Untamed and Intoxicate. So this is actually the blush that I have got on my cheeks today. And the highlighter in both of these 2 duos that I'm going to show you are a little bit too deep for me to be a highlighter anyway. And so I've been using them as blushes, and it's the same formulation as the highlighter from the bronzer duo, so it wouldn't like really stick to my top of my cheeks anyway. So I've been mixing these 2 or using the matte, and they've been going on my cheeks really pretty like that, mixing them or using just kind of the satin matte shade by itself. And this one in particular, in the shade Untamed and Intoxicate, I've been wearing the most out of the 2, but both of them are really pretty. I kind of went back on the website after I got these because I just didn't know, you know, and I was like, wow, 50% off, that's a really good deal. But I just didn't know, like, you know, how I would feel about them. And so when I went back to, I was going to get a couple more of these blush and duos. I just call them blush duos because, again, I don't use the highlighter like that. They were back to normal pricing. So anyway, that is the Untamed and Intoxicate duo right there. And the other one that I got is Cherub and Angelique, made in France, 11 grams, 0.38 ounces of product in this guy as well. Same style of packaging. And this one's more of a pink toned. I would say this guy is a mauve pink, and then this is kind of a cool tone, shiny highlighter type pink. Same thing, been mixing them or just kind of using this shade right here, but I use both of these as a blush as opposed to a highlighter. So again, I can't really get that highlight formulation to stick to my skin tone. But that one again is Cherub and Angelique, did I say? Yeah, Angelique, right there. Also from Haus Labs, I got another one of the Tutti Gel Powder All Over Rouges, and I got the shade Bellini, and there's 0.12 ounces of product in here, and this is made in Italy. So this is a baked jelly product. It's a really nice, sleek packaging. I love the packaging on these blushes from the brand, and this is a more kind of corally toned shade, and I'll swatch it next to the other shade that I have in this range that I picked up a while ago. I also got that one on Amazon, but I had to pay full price. So this is Bellini right here. Just a really good one for the summertime. And again, you guys know how I feel about baked jelly products on the skin. They're some of my favorite formulas, especially for blush. They just look so pretty on the skin. So that one is Bellini. And then here is Rossini, which is the first one that I bought, which is more pink toned, but same baked jelly style formula there. So there is Rossini and there is Bellini, also from Haus Labs. I really like the packaging on those blushes. I also purchased one of the 4 Away quads from the brand, and the shade that I got is Forpay. 4-Way Forpay. But it's this guy right here. So this one here is made in France, and there's a total of, let's see where it says on the packaging, 0.13 ounces of product across 4 shades. It's got a cardboard packaging, so there are a couple, well, quite a few actually, different variations in the quads like this from Haus Labs. This is the one that I picked up, and there's a little sleeve in there. But this has got 2 matte shadows, which are these 2 right here, and then you've got a shimmer and then a super, super foily shade. And this is a pretty decent quad as well. I do bring in something a little bit lighter for highlighting for this guy here, but it's a better formulation than her first ones, which I'll talk about more about that in a minute. But this shade here is really, really foiled. It almost feels like a cream shadow, but it's really pretty. like if you could see the foiliness of that shadow right there. So again, that is For Pay right there, the quad from Haus Labs. And then lastly from Haus Labs, I got the Love for Sale eyeshadow palette. And I purchased this kind of mainly out of curiosity because the first two palettes that I bought from the brand I just wasn't a fan of, and both of those were made in the USA. Her Stupid Love palette, and then also the first one, the Glam Room #1 palette, those are both made in the USA. So since then they've switched manufacturers, and this new palette here, the Love for Sale shadow palette, is made in Italy, and this guy's got 18 shades, 27 grams, 0.95 ounces of product, so you are getting a pretty decent amount of product. So this is the box packaging. I think it would have been really pretty if she would have put herself on the actual packaging. So this is the actual palette itself. That would have just been really pretty to put that imagery on the palette. But I'm glad that I picked this guy up because it is a better formulation for sure than the first two. So this newer manufacturer has got nicer shadows. So cardboard packaging, good mirror in there, and overall this is a pretty warm color story with some purples and a little hint of green in there. I can kind of make this standalone every now and again. I do wish for something brighter on the inner corner because this is the lightest shimmer, but for the most part the range of tones, shimmers and mattes is pretty good in this guy. And again, this formulation is nicer than the first ones that I experienced from the brand. It's just overall a nicer shadow formulation from Haus Labs. That being said, when I was blending out some of the mattes, this dark shade in particular that I used, I was kind of packing it on and blending it. Some of the shades have a tendency to hit their limit, if you will, when you're blending them, and they want to get like this little bit of a lighter patch to it, if that makes sense. I think you guys will probably know what I'm talking about, but they are nicer, but they could still be better, if that makes sense. But I'm glad that at least this particular palette is nicer than the others. I've worn it a couple times, and again, I've had much better luck with this palette than I have with the previous two, which were really not that wonderful. Like I had originally expected so much from the Haus Labs brand, and for me the items that I had purchased up until just recently have just kind of not been doing it for me. But hopefully you can see in the swatches here whether or not this is something that you will like. And if you see anything from Haus Labs in here that you is catching your eye, maybe keep an eye on Amazon, because again, I was able to get all of this stuff 50% off. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on it myself. I'm contemplating whether or not to get some more of those gelée blushes, and then also the blush duos. But let's watch these next ones. And really there isn't anything super special about the finishes or the colors in this palette. I'm just happy to report that the formulation is better than her original. In this bottom row, this is like a topper type of a shade. It reminds me of the top shades from the Tom Ford shadow cream duos. If you guys are familiar with those, that's what type of texture this is. And if I'm not mistaken, those are also made in Italy, those Tom Ford duos. And then these last two shades there. So that guy right there is the Haus Labs, what I call it, Love for Sale shadow palette right there. I am excited about kind of the rebrand that's coming up. I think it's scheduled for June, if memory serves me correctly, but in the meantime, keep an eye out on Amazon for 50% off. I know they were also doing a good sale on the Haus Labs website before they did that announcement, but now I don't think you can even shop on the Haus Labs website. And then I also picked up another one of the Jill Stewart Dual Lucent Glow Setting Powders. I originally picked up the shade number 2, I believe is what it's called, which is the pink and the white half, and then I wanted to get one that maybe wasn't so bright because I've been really enjoying both of these products for finishing powders. They do have a glow to them, but buffed over with a really fluffy brush. It kind of does kind of a similar effect, but maybe just a hint more shine when comparing it to the Guerlain Meteorites. So I wanted to get a shade that had more of a kind of skin tone color in there. So this is the 01 Lucent Beige shade, and there are only 2 available, so I'll go ahead and swatch the 2 next to each other. But the 01 Lucent Beige, which is this one right here, I just bought the pan instead of getting it with the compact, because you do purchase them separately. So this is the compact that I originally purchased that has the first shade in there, and it does come with a puff. But let me swatch the one in Lucent Beige, which again I do have all over my skin today for finishing. And then I should say too, this is made in Japan, and there's 0.14 ounces of product, which really isn't a ton of product that you're getting. So we'll see how long they kind of last for me. But this is just more kind of skin tone colored for going into the summertime, as opposed to the other one, which has got a white and a pink half to it. And I'll swatch these too for you guys, just so you can see the brightness factor. Put them down here. But it's a really nice powder. These do have a really light scent to them, but it does not linger on the skin, and I don't have any irritation or anything. But again, I've been enjoying both these products for finishing powders, much like I use the Guerlain Meteorites. So that's the Jill Stewart Dual Lucent Glow Setting Powder in Lucent Beige. Right there. And then lastly, I placed an order on the Beauty Bay website. They were having a really good deal on their in-house brand eyeshadow palettes, which I really enjoy. So I bought a couple bundles, and I haven't used all of the eyeshadow palettes, so I'll go ahead and swatch and talk about the one that I have. But a lot of you guys had recommended to me this honey. It's from the brand Pink Honey, I believe is the brand, and they have these brow like products. There's a couple different variations. So I got the Honey Glue Cola Cubes Tint Hold. So there's a clear version of this available as well, but I wanted to get the tinted one to see if it would kind of have a little bit more of a definitive look to it, and then it wouldn't, like, I don't want to say, like when it breaks apart or if you touch your eyebrows, you can get like a bit of a white casting on the hairs, if that makes sense. And I really enjoyed the way that this made my brows look. If I were to rub my brow, it did do that kind of white look to them, but the hold was great, the separation was great, it really looked nice. You get a massive amount of product in here as well. Like this would last a very long time. That comes in this package here, and then it does come with what they call a honey stick. So you get this wet, and here, let me show you. It comes in this really cute little jar, and there's a hole in the center, so you get this wet, you put it in there, and you swirl it around and then comb it through your brows. And again, I was really enjoying this product. 2 days in a row though, my whole brows were broke out really bad. So I was quite upset with that, because I had been enjoying the product. I liked the way that it made my brows look, but the breakouts through my brows was pretty extensive. So unfortunately, I'm having a little bit of a reaction. My eyebrows are really prone to breaking out with brow products though. So, but other than that, it's got a nice hold, and I was enjoying it and enjoying the way that it made my brows look. So that's unfortunate. My favorite one, again, out of the brow products that I've tried is the e.l.f. Brow Soap. That's what I have on my brows today as well, with the NYX Brow Pen. So that's the Pink Honey. And again, mine was the Cola Cube, which is the tinted version. And then the palette that I purchased from Beauty Bay that I have used is the Love Notes 20 color palette. So this kind of came out, I want to say in March. And it sold out really quickly initially, and then it came back into stock. So I grabbed it, and this one is made in the PRC. There are 20 shades that are 0.05 ounces per shade, which is a nice amount of product that you're getting. But this is that same great Beauty Bay formulation that I love. But this is just a really pretty, it's all-in-one for me. It's got beautiful pinks, purples, and some neutral shades in there. And the shine on like these shiny shades, it's so pretty. So, one of my favorite palettes of 2021 was the Nikki Tutorials palette, and I know that palette has got like such mixed reviews, but I love that palette. There was only one shade in there that was kind of difficult for me to work with, but overall I think that might have been my most used palette last year. Nikki Tutorials one, but I really love the Beauty Bay formulation. It's just really nice and so affordable. I want to say that this might have been $11, and you get a massive amount of product. It's just, you can't beat it. You really can't. And these guys. Some matte pastels in there, which aren't always the easiest to do. Yeah, some of these shiny shades, they're just beautiful. Beauty Bay like runs really good sales frequently. And then these next guys. Look at the shine. The shine is so stunning. And then these last four. Like so pretty. So that guy right there is the Love Notes palette from Beauty Bay right there. And it's a beauty. It's standalone for me too. And that is everything that I have for my haul today. I kind of apologize. I know I'm off my game, and I typically don't like say anything, but you guys can always tell. I've noticed that in the comments. So I am off my game, and I'm kind of sad, if you will. My corgi, his name is Cruiser. He was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and I've had him longer than I've been doing YouTube videos. He's 13, so he's pretty old. And this week and right now currently I'm gonna have to probably put him down this coming week. So I haven't been away from him for longer than a week in 13 years, so it's gonna be an adjustment. He's really struggling to breathe, and it's the last thing I want for him is to suffer. So my apologies for not being my super upbeat self. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I will see you guys later. Bye.